how do you figure out how much you should charge?
So that is complicated.
Yeah.
Very, very complicated. It depends on what you do. It depends on the type of client. It depends on a lot of things. And, you know, whether you're hourly or you're retainer or you have a day rate or there's a project base, there's a million ways you can charge. Again, I'd have to go into a full hour to go into every single structure, but what's more important than the structures of how you get paid is how you truly understand your value in the marketplace. It's less how you charge and it's more what you charge, in the sense of, you know, I see people all the time, for example, I'll tell you the difference between a freelancer and a consultant who owns their business and who looks at themselves as a business. A freelancer looks at a project and goes, okay, I think this will take me like 10 hours. And if my rate is like 120 an hour, that comes out to this. And then, okay, that's what I'll charge. That will keep you a freelancer forever. You are literally putting a price just per unit of your time. It's not scalable. You're almost never going to work a full 40-hour week. So you're not going to make the money you're going to want to make, and you're constantly going to be chasing projects. Instead, I like people to think about their rates in terms of value. And value pricing is a more advanced way of pricing for consultants that have a lot of confidence. They've gotten used to sales and that conversation and asking for a lot, but it works. And how it looks is this. Let's say, I'm going to take a very simple example. Let's say, and we'll take Macy's. I don't know why I just came up with Macy's, but we'll take Macy's. Let's say Macy's wants to redesign their Red Star logo. They're like ready for a total redesign. And now they're not going to hire a consultant. We know that they're going to hire an ad agency or a design agency. But as a consultant, you're no different than an agency. You're just one person instead of a full staff, perhaps. So let's take that example. How much value do you think Macy's places on that branding and logo redesign? And Asia, I want you to answer that question for me. How much value do you think Macy's would place on that?
Oh.
What do they stand to gain or lose if that goes well?
Yeah, millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars. How many hours do you think it would take you to redesign their logo?
Good question. I don't know, a few weeks probably, with back and forth.
Hours. How many hours? How many hours? 10 to 20 total, maybe? And yeah, there's back and forth conversations and stuff like that. So if you calculated the hours, if you're like, okay, I'm $100 an hour at 20 hours, okay, that's like this amount. No, the value is like $100,000, $200,000. And there's nothing wrong with saying, all right, Macy's, okay, so you're saying that you want a total rebrand and you stand to lose. You could end up going bankrupt this year if you don't do something. You have to change. We have to get you a fresh new look. You have your entire business is on the line. So to go in and say, my fee for this is going to be $200,000. We have a 6-week scope of work. I have a team under me, whatever, blah, 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 blah. They're not going to blink. And that's just that's just one example of how value pricing looks versus just by the hour. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with charging by the hour. I charge by the hour. And the reason why is because I had very demanding clients. My clients were in the hedge fund and private equity space. These guys want what they want, when they want. And I knew that already about them. I worked with these guys for years. And so I charged hourly, a high hourly rate, so that when they emailed me at 5 o'clock on a Friday and said, I need this now, no problem. It took me 5 minutes to email it, and I now charged you an hour for an hour of my time. That's why I did that.
Do you have any tips for people that are maybe feeling lack of confidence in asking for what they might be worth?
Yeah, you should know that people are charging a lot of money for what you do. I
Yeah.
mean, if that doesn't give you a kick in the ass, I don't know what will, because the fact of the matter is, when you find out, I mean, it's even the same with full-time employment. When you find out the person next to you is making 3 times what you're making, I mean, what better motivation is that? I know what everybody's making. I know this industry backwards and forwards, and I can tell you that people make a ton of money in consulting because they ask for it and because they understand how to speak to the value and results of what they're doing and not the tasks. They understand also what questions to ask clients or prospect clients that are going to get to the root of what the actual problem is. The client may think they need merchandising help, but if you really ask the right questions, and that's what client prospecting, by the way, is all about. It's not about pitching, it's about asking the right questions to discover what the problem really is and what their sense of urgency is and how they value it. What do they have to stand and what stand to lose? What do they stand to gain?